Hey guys, welcome to
We are at war! We are at war again, Mitchell.
How many wars are we going to be part of?
We are waging war again.
Our name is too little to be part of. Oh, it picked it up.
Okay, good.
Why are we part of so many wars? We're so little.
Because Mitchell, we are the little people. We represent
the 1%.
The two people that watch our show, you know? We have to fight for those little people.
100%. What are we fighting?
We are fighting against stupid clickbait news companies.
Well, we've lost.
In games journalism. But we'll talk about that once we get to the actual news.
I mean, it's pretty much all journalism at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that in the news topics later.
What I hate about that is that it kind of the way you start that is pretty much a clickbait. Even though we are talking about, you're like, this is happening, and then it's like, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. But I had to do something interesting. I had to spice it up. I hope I didn't just damage my wall. It's all right.
You're fine. Right. Yeah, you were right.
I scared the living shit out of my dog.
Oh, poor Valentine.
Poor Valentine's like under the.
Poor Valentine.
Under here on her bed, going.
Poor puppy.
Anyway, how you going, man?
Yeah, all right, man. Chilling.
Chilling. We caught up. We caught up on Friday last week.
Fuck, man.
And all we did was watch TikTok.
Yeah, man. I try to show this man an anime that I think he'd really like, and he goes, here's all these TikToks that I know. And I'm like, all right.
They were spicy. They were good.
They were funny. They were all right. They were good. Yeah.
I've become addicted to that fucking app, and I hate it.
Fucking TikTok, mate.
How addicted I am. But have you been playing any new games, mate?
No.
Good, because I've been
busy.
playing 2 new games.
Okay.
2.
What ones?
Course. Now, I spoke to you a little bit about it on Friday. The Medium.
Yes.
The new Xbox exclusive horror game.
Yeah.
Made by the guys that did Layers of Fear, etc.
And how was
Played
that? How was it?
It's average.
Average, hey?
Yeah, I'm a bit let down.
It was getting good reviews from what I saw.
What I've noticed is kind of, it's very mixed. It's either you love it or you hate it.
Right.
It's one of those games.
Right.
And I don't hate it. I'm very middle of the road. I think this game has a really great concept.
Hmm.
And
well, that's part of the reason you got it.
Yeah. It starts off really strong. And then as soon as it actually gets into the part that's meant to be interesting, it just really goes downhill. So, the introduction to the game is really interesting. It's really good. There's, a few little scares that worked for me, got me a little creeped out.
Set
and
the atmosphere.
The atmosphere is really good, but then the payout once you get to the main area, once you meet the first big monster,
yeah,
it was just downhill from there, in my opinion. The first monster was not scary. It wasn't scary. I saw the monster and I went, oh, that's it?
Yeah.
That's the enemy? Okay.
Uh-oh. That's not a good sign.
And so, yeah, it was just from there on, it was just kind of bland. Now, to describe how this game plays would be, it's similar to the old Resident Evil, 1 and 2, the originals, where it's the camera's fixed and you move your character in a fixed area, fixed screen. Yeah, I don't enjoy those types of games that much, but I think if it had been done well, it would have worked a lot better. At the beginning, they did it really well. Like I said, it began with in a really well done situation. For example, one of the early scares that got me, or creep outs that got me.
Yeah.
You walk into an office, and so the camera's up here, so you're seeing all of this, and just in the corner, where a window's meant to be, you just see the shadow of someone who's standing at the front of the window, but you can't see the person. Stuff like that is really good. And so it can really work well in a horror in a horror game. It's just I think they got a little too carried away with what they wanted this game to be, which then the camera angles don't work anymore. Because like you get to, like I said, the first time you meet the monster.
Well, that happens to a few games, doesn't it? They try to stack in too much into a game, or they lose the kind of direction of where they
the original
wanted
direction that was really good.
Yeah.
And then they went, okay, but now we've got more ambitions and we've got more
so let's stuff all this in, and then it's like, oh, it doesn't really work, but oh well, it's too late.
Yeah, it doesn't. Like as an example, that like I said, they have this sequence when you meet the first monster. And it's a running sequence, you're running away from it, and so the camera's fixed the whole time and changing, and it's just, whatever. It's alright, that's not too bad, but then, after that, you go into a stealth sequence.
Right.
With a fixed camera.
Yeah.
You have to try and use stealth, and like, it's not like, you know, the old Metal Gear Solid 1 or 2, where the fixed camera was there, and you could see the character and all the enemies easily. No, not like that. There are points where you cannot see the fucking enemy, and it's just got an arrow pointing to where the enemy is. And it's like, and it's not good. It's not a good stealth sequence either, because it's a really scripted stealth sequence, and it's just like stuff like that. It just, I think, really ruined the experience. And like, yeah, it's just there's a character that starts off being kind of creepy, and in my opinion, just becomes, she's there.
Yeah.
Like, it's just whatever, and it's just not as good as it could have been.
Right.
Not should have, but it could have been. I think it could have been a really, really.
So out of 10, what was your rating?
6.
6. Yeah. Okay.
Very middle of the road. Like, it's not bad, and it like I said, the concept of Medium is really good. The concept is really good.
There's a lot of games like that. Concept alone's not going to get you anywhere.
Well, no, concept, though, is a good start. And
it's a good start.
And the way Medium did it was also a really interesting way to do it. The whole way they do this split screen, you're seeing the ghost world and the real world at the same time, was really interesting. And I think that was a really interesting concept again, but they didn't stick the landing. And
no, it doesn't sound like it, at least.
No, I'm a bit let down, and thank fuck, because of Game Pass, I didn't have to pay for that game.
Yeah. Well, you said you've been playing another one too. What's that one?
Yes, this game came out last night.
Oh?
And I didn't buy it.
Which one
is it? I got it for free due to PlayStation Plus, which is Destruction All-Stars.
Did that only just come out?
That just came out.
Oh, why is it on the free games for PS Plus then?
Because there's no other PS5 game to give. Pretty much.
Oh, this is PS5, right? Yeah, okay. That's the one that only released for PS5.
Yes, that's a PlayStation 5 exclusive.
Cool. How was it?
And it's a like small kind of online-ish game, so I understand.
Yeah, it's kind of just like a
similar to Fall Guys. When Fall Guys first came out, it was free.
It's kind of just like a brainless wrestling sort of match, isn't it? Game.
It's Twisted Metal.
Right.
Like it's car roller derby.
Yeah, it's like brainless fun sort of game.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying it now. Granted, I didn't play any last night. I've only been playing it a bit today.
Yeah.
So
that's fresh in the memory, mate.
Yeah, I've only played 2 game modes of the multiplayer so far, and they're just like your normal, like kind of free-for-all deathmatch style game mode. And then there's one called Grid, I believe. And Grid is essentially, it's again free-for-all, but parts of the map will slowly fall off and come back and fall off again, and it'll get smaller and smaller and smaller.
Okay.
While you're trying to drive around in these cars and survive. Now, the way this game works is you have kind of 2 parts to the game. You have your in-car just smashing into motherfuckers. You have your right stick to the right or left, or smash it on either side. Forward, you charge forward and kind of smash them a bit harder if you go head on or whatever.
Sure.
And then you have your on foot kind of concepts. So on foot you can obviously dodge, jump, you do all the parkour and shit, and you get to other cars. But on top of that, you can also jump on enemy cars. And
that's cool.
So jumping on the enemy cars, you can try and take their car or take over their car.
Yeah.
You have like a kind of a hot button, like a hotkey sequence where you press like square or circle or X or triangle, etc., etc.
That's a little different.
The enemy has to essentially use the left stick and do that to shake you off.
Okay. Is it balanced?
So far, it seems pretty balanced. I don't know if it's just people are idiots. I seem to win a lot, but I've also, win a lot when I'm taking over someone's car, but I also seem to win a lot when I'm shaking the analog stick too. So far, I haven't found it to be
unbalanced. You're just better.
I'm lucky.
Yeah.
I think I get people at times where they're like, "Oh shit, I wasn't expecting it."
Yeah.
But and there's really interesting ways. So like when you do take over the car, you have two options: to take the car from the enemy, so essentially rip the enemy out and hop in the car, or to blow the car up.
Right. And obviously, if you know that car has more health than your own, you would just take that car.
Well, so the way this game also works is there's cars kind of splayed all over the map that you can also take over. So most of the time when I do it, I go to destroy the car, just because you just net more points a lot of the time.
Right. Okay.
And if there's a car nearby, you just quickly run and grab a car that's already just been spawned in. Yeah. Now, on top of that, every player is a specific character. It's like a character-based game.
Yep.
And each character has one ability when they're on foot, and then they also have a special car that you can summon after you get enough points.
Oh, okay.
And when you summon that car also has an ability as well. And so, as an example, there's a car where it kind of creates this barrier. So when you boost into an enemy head on, if you hit like a clean hit, it'll deal extra damage and just fucking throw them back. Or like there's a guy who summons a giant fuck off truck with like blades at the front and shit. Like, it's really fun. At the moment, Grid is probably my favorite game mode.
Right. Okay.
Out of the two, I love Grid. I think it's so fun because it changes up the way you have to play and think about it. Because the other one, which is called Mayhem, which is just you have to damage as much
chaos
points, is very. It's just it's just hit the cars more than the other people hit you. Yeah. Essentially, whereas this is like you hit cars and stuff, but you also have to survive because it's whoever survives at the end wins. But you want to try and play this very balanced game of absolute aggression and running the fuck away. And like my strategy at the moment has been smash into a motherfucker that's near a gap, and because you can eject out of your cars by pressing X. So I just eject myself out of the car as my car smashes into them. It throws them off. I land still on the map. And
nice.
Like just stuff like that, or stealing, like doing the hijacking an enemy's car can really fuck with them.
Yeah.
Because they want to try and steer you off, like they want to shake you off. But if you've hijacked them in an area where there's a lot of holes, they're also in up shit creek, and then you can wreck their car and potentially kill them that way.
Fair enough.
It's a really interesting little balance. I'm really loving it, actually.
It seems like a better release title than any of the PS4's one. Like Killzone 3 or whatever it was back then.
PS4 had Killzone
Shadow,
was it? Look,
something like that.
Obviously, this generation, just like every other generation, has not that many releases. I wouldn't say this is a PS5. This is the PS5 winner. This is how Xbox is defeated. It's nothing like that. But if you have a PS5, this is a fun game.
It's a fun game to just play.
I have one complaint with it, and that is, and I might be wrong, but so far I have not found a fucking mute button on players.
Really? That's interesting.
It is driving me fucking crazy because I was playing this game of fucking Grid, and this guy's blasting shit ass emo music in my fucking ear. Literally, I never, you know me, I never have my mic unmuted.
Yeah.
I always have it on mute.
Yep.
Because I don't want to fucking talk to people.
No, of course. No, same
I don't give
here,
a
man.
shit. I don't want to hear other people
It's
talk
just like,
either.
it's like when you're on the, like, train, right? And you're coming home or going somewhere, and, like, these kids or this guy comes on.
Come on with a
playing their
fucking
music.
boombox.
Yeah, and it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Exactly.
It's so annoying.
But it's even like, I don't want to hear random talking shit either. Like, I just don't give a fuck. Like, quite frankly, could not care less. Like, anytime I play COD, I immediately, my first thing is
mute everyone.
The entire party. Like, the entire group lobby. That's what I do. And all I had throughout this whole thing was I couldn't hear anything except for this shit fucking emo music. And it killed me. It fucking killed me. But like,
I know. Did you Google it? Did you look it up?
I haven't Googled it. But
well, there's your problem.
But I checked settings. There's no like fucking mute or like player audio. You in game. There's no way to do it. And like, it's really stupid to have it only if you can only do it in game, because literally when the game starts, you can't access the lobby or anything, or just you can't access the playlist until the game actually starts. And this game is so fast paced that there's no time in between to go, let me just hop into the lobby menu and click mute.
Right.
It's just, you will get fucking, especially in Grid, where it's one life. One life, that's it.
Yep.
You're gonna fucking die. I did die trying to figure it out a couple times. I was like, oh, fuck me.
That is annoying.
Now, like I said, that might end up just being my stupidity. I'll find out later, like probably earlier on this afternoon. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been playing. I actually been playing Cold War again.
Really?
Cold War.
You were playing Cold War?
Actually, I've been playing Cold War a lot.
Wow.
With Josh, actually.
Well, that's because you're getting a carry every game.
No.
He's insane, dude.
Yeah, Josh is a broken person, but it's really fun playing with Josh at the moment because Josh has been really into Warzone. So Josh comes back from Warzone and plays like shit, and I do better than him because he's used to Warzone. So he gets fucking rinsed. And he's like, it's like takes him 2 games of him just breaking down, going, I'm not doing Warzone. My levels of skill.
Yeah.
What's happening? And then like the 3rd game, he comes into some broken bullshit of just how good he is. Sweaty fucker.
Very sweaty boy.
And I've been playing Warzone with him. Just, that's what we've been doing as of recent. We've been smashing out some Warzone and Cold War. And Cold War's gotten better.
You reckon?
It might just be I unlocked some better guns, but like,
I think I'm
actually doing really well at Cold War. Like, I'm actually doing very well. Like, when you look at, like, my character, most of my, like, each map has, like, stats on it of how you play. Most of my maps are all positive KDs and high win ratings. High win ratios. And I'm like, I'm going okay, I'm decent. Which means I do believe that there has been some balancing that's occurred, because some of the...
Play games without Josh and then tell me what your stats are.
No, I have been, though. I've been playing them without Josh as well. It's just...
Okay, alright.
With Josh, I got back into it. It was because Josh was like, hey, let's play. And I was like, okay. But I play a lot by myself.
Alright, fair enough.
And like I said, like, I'm still doing, like, high kills, like, low deaths, and like, I'll try a new gun. Like, Josh and I one day went, let's just try this gun. No, we had no attachments on it. We hadn't unlocked anything on it. And we both fucking did well. And so it's feeling a lot better this game.
That's good.
There's a few more maps now. Not a shit ton, but a few more. A lot of them, obviously, because it's Call of Duty, rehashes of their old games. But
fair enough.
I've actually been enjoying Cold War. And again, I'm enjoying Warzone as well.
Actually.
But not the normal Warzone mode.
Really?
They've got
You're playing
this
the
new
different
mode. The smaller map.
Yeah.
That is so much fucking fun.
Oh, fair enough.
Josh and I have a blast on that. We fucking rinse. And I actually, like, obviously I don't do as good as Josh, but I hold my own, which is something for me.
That is true. He is
That is
insane.
something
Anyone
to
who
it.
can hold their own with him is probably doing alright, you know.
Josh is just. I
Yeah,
love it when Josh
he's
wants
cracked.
to play a multiplayer game because I'm like,
He's cracked.
yay!
Yeah.
But what were you gonna say?
I was saying, there's actually, so Destiny has been working towards crossplay, right?
Yes.
So what they've done, right, with this newest, or what they were working to do, is they're basically nerfing mouse and keyboard stability stats to make it closer to a controller so that it's more even across the board. So if you're a mouse and keyboard, your stability stats when you're shooting and using a weapon have decreased. So you have to control more, and then I guess controllers just stay put. So it's about a
Right.
20%
So that means
closer
if
to
we
the
were
controller.
playing, so that means if we were, let's say, I re-downloaded Destiny 2 right now.
Sure.
I hopped on playing controller because
I don't think it's happened yet.
But let's say this is.
Let's say it's
Let's
happened.
say this update's happened. Even if I was just playing with PC players, they're playing on mouse and keyboard and I'm playing on controller, there'll be a bit more of an even.
Yes. As in,
even though, to be honest,
people
there's
laser.
PC.
I see videos of YouTubers and they're using like an SMG, right? And
Yeah,
an SMG roll that I've also got, but I use controller, and I see them just like laser, no movement whatsoever, and I'm like struggling to control this over the same distance.
The thing is, that's still gonna be because like you watch like people who play like fucking CS:GO professionally and shit.
At least it'll be closer though.
But if you look at how they move their goddamn mouse, like you watch them like
it's crazy.
from afar and actually watch them like moving their mouse like going like that to make it just pinpoint. It's crazy what they do with the mouse just to keep that pinpoint. So
100%.
As much as like the stability might help a little bit,
I think it'll help the more mid-tier gamers.
Yeah, I was gonna say I
the
feel
pros will probably just know what to
once
do.
we get to a certain point, it's
but I still think making it a bit harder for mouse and keyboard is a good move in the long run, anyways.
If you're going to do cross-platform, yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
Actually, the new season comes out next week too. Actually.
I really want to get back into Destiny. But
you won't get back into it. It's too much for you.
It's too much now.
It's too much for you.
Do you know what I want? It's not that it's just too much. I'm craving an MMO, but just not a shooter. I don't want a shooter. I want a good old MMO.
I'd love a Pokemon one. Just an open world Pokemon. Sorry?
It'll never happen.
It'll never happen. But damn.
It will never happen.
It would be so good.
One reason alone. Nintendo's just too shit with their online. Nintendo's online is F tier.
Yeah.
Beyond F tier. But anyway, let's get into the news.
News. Here we go. Spicy stuff. Alright, what did Ubisoft do?
So, nothing. Ubisoft's not in the news.
Damn it. EA.
They're in the news, but okay, we'll get into it.
Okay.
So this is why we're at war. Let's get into the reason why.
Oh yeah, I forgot we're at war.
This is why.
I don't have a weapon.
There's an EA and Blizzard diversity scandal.
Sorry, say that again. Diversity
scandal. There is a scandal about the diversity within EA and Activision Blizzard. Now, I'm going to get into this because... And don't interrupt me until we get to the end, because there is going to be... It's going to sound like I'm on one side, which I absolutely am not. Okay, so there have been some headlines in these news articles that are fucking bullshit headlines. Now, anyway, yeah, fuck you. I have to side with Activision, Blizzard, and EA right now. Disgusting. Anyway, so if you own a certain amount of shares in a company, you can put forward ideas and submit proposals for the other shareholders to vote for, and then the company has to enforce them, yeah? So in comes a shareholder known as AFL-CIO, who submitted a proposal to both EA and Activision, because they own a lot of shares, they own enough shares in both, saying that any time there is a hire, you have to at least interview a diversity hire for every position. So let's say you're hiring someone to be a new developer, you have to interview another person for diversity hire standards. Essentially saying every hiring job you have, say you have 100 developers you need to hire. For each developer that you interview and hire, let's say they happen to be white, you also have to hire another person. You have to interview another person of color before you hire them, essentially, right?
Okay.
Now, EA and Activision both kind of went out of their way and went, let's go to the SEC, which is the Securities Exchange Commission, and said, we're stopping this before it gets to vote. They said, we're not letting this get to vote because just in case the other shareholders agree to it and they go through with it. Now, the problem with that is then it's bad. It looks like bad PR. All these companies come in and starts all these news articles going, EA and Activision hate diversity. They hate certain minorities. Blah, 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 blah. And I have to defend Activision Blizzard right now and EA. This isn't an argument for against diversity. Just think of the logistics of a company. Every time they need to hire someone, they have to interview, let's say, an extra 3 people just for diversity. And
they're not even getting them a job.
That's not even guaranteed a hire. That's just they have to interview them. It just doesn't make sense.
No.
Let's say they're not even like they.
That's almost an insult. Out. If you're interviewing them just because of their race or ethnicity or whatever, that's almost an insult because it's like, hey, we don't actually want to hire you. We're just doing it because you're this race and we kind of have to. So it's almost an insult to them professionally.
That's not my issue with this.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
My issue is simply logistically. This isn't saying like for every time you put out, like let's say they go onto Craigslist and say we need to hire X amount of people and stuff. It's got nothing to do with that. It is, let's say they go to a developer and go, we want you. You work in this company. We want to hire you. They have to go out of their way to also interview someone who's of another ethnicity or of a minority. And that just doesn't make sense. It is a logistical issue. It will cost them a lot of money, actually. And it got to the point where Activision had to come out and say, we've got no problem with the diversity. It is just the wording of this proposal is just, it costs more money than what we'd get. It would cost us more money in the long run to go ahead with this. Whereas if you change the wording, et cetera, that's a different story. And they said also, we already have a rule for diversity in place, which is, it's tied with like, it's like an old law that came into place, or like company rule that came into place when captains and all that came through. You good, Mitchell?
I got a barking chihuahua. I'm trying to yell at him. Yeah. Pain in my ass.
I can hear the dog.
Yeah, you can, right?
Yeah.
But go on. I'm listening. I'm listening.
That's it. That's kind of.
Oh, you are so annoying, Chihuahua, man. If I could make meatballs, I fucking would. Anyways, no, I have to agree. It doesn't sound like they're actually hating on diversity.
It's not the diversity that they're taking issue with. It is the wording behind how they have to do it.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And the fact of the matter is, if you're owning a company or hiring or auditioning people for whatever it is, base your hire off talent and suitability for the job. Like, I have no problem with diversity or anything, but I don't think someone should get a job for diversity purposes. I think anyone should have to earn their position and have the qualifications for it. You know what I mean? That's my opinion.
It goes the other way around. I don't think a company should hire because that person's white and they prefer white people as well.
Exactly. No, that's what I mean.
It is just pure. No. But like, we should also just say like it's either way.
Yeah, it is both ways.
It's on both ways. Now, Anyway, let's move on to the next bit of news. So, Google Stadia. We love Google Stadia. Google Stadia. We remember that? That was a thing, yeah? Apparently. I don't even remember when Google Stadia came out. I think it was 2019 and end of beginning or end of 2018 maybe.
I do not know.
It's not old.
Google Stadia.
It feels like it's about a 6-year-old product.
November 19th, 2019.
There we go.
So not long. It hasn't been out for long.
Okay, well, we also know how poorly Google Stadia was handled. It was a massive flop. Google has failed to get players interested in this piss poor cloud gaming service.
Yep.
Like, Google thought they had this whole thing in the bag, so much so that they created some first party studios, which is a good thing. They should create some first party studios because that's going to bring people onto this platform.
It really
that's how
work.
you're going to get it. Well, they haven't released any first party games really yet. Anyway,
I thought it was dead. I was actually thinking about it last night.
We got a statement from the Vice President of Google Stadia, Phil Harrison, telling us about the future of the platform.
Oh yeah, I'd love to know the future of the platform.
Yeah. So this is his words. We launched Stadia with the goal of making your favorite games instantly available wherever you want to play them.
Yeah.
With the recent successful launch of Cyberpunk 2077 on Stadia, gameplay on all types of devices, including iOS, growing our slate of YouTube integrations and our global expansions, it's clear that Stadia's technology has been proven and works at scale. Having games streamed to any screen is the future of this industry, and we'll continue to invest in Stadia and its underlying platform to provide the best cloud gaming experience for our partners and the gaming community. This has been the vision of Stadia since the beginning. In 2021, we're expanding our efforts to help game developers and publishers take advantage of our platform technology and deliver games directly to their players. We see an important opportunity to work with partners seeking a gaming solution, all built on Stadia's advanced technical infrastructure and platform tools. We believe this is the best path to building Stadia into a long-term sustainable business that helps grow the industry. Creating best-in-class games from the ground up takes many years and significant investment, and the cost is going up exponentially. Given our focus on building on the proven technology of Stadia, as well as deepening our business partnerships, we've decided that we will not be investing further in bringing exclusive content from our internal development team, SG and E, which are the two studios that are open.
Yep.
Beyond any near-term planned games. With the increased focus on using our technology platform for industry partners, Jade Raymond has decided to leave Google to pursue other opportunities. We greatly appreciate Jade's contribution to Stadia and wish her the best of luck in her future endeavors. Over the coming months, most of the SG and E team will be moving on to new roles. We are committed to working with this talented team to find new roles and support them. What does this mean if you're a current or future Stadia gamer? You can continue playing all your games on Stadia and Stadia Pro, and we'll continue to bring new titles from third parties to the platform. We're committed to the future of cloud gaming, and we'll continue to do our part to drive this industry forward. Our goal remains focused on creating the best possible platform for gamers and technology for partners, bringing these experiences to life for people everywhere. So essentially what they're saying is our future's pretty fucked because we just closed our only first-party studios
and
that are
people
making
are jumping
games.
ship.
Yeah, and these are games that you were only going to be able to get on Stadia. they don't exist now. So any game you want to play, you can get it elsewhere. So why bother coming to our system?
They're like
I mean,
they don't have the funding or whatever to hold these studios together anymore.
They don't have the funding. It's just they're fuckwits. They fucked it up. It's as simple as that. They got too greedy with their stupid subscription plus paying for the games on top of that. They didn't. They're not. They're dumbasses. They're fucking dumbasses.
Well,
it's as simple as that. Like,
I thought it was dead. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was already dead, and now
pretty much is dying. It's still dying.
It's such a slow death.
You know,
so sad.
And for people saying, they might not have the funding. That's some bullshit, because I'm gonna throw you over to a company. Now, obviously, it is it's still bigger than Google, but Google is still pretty big compared to this company.
For these two companies
Amazon.
That they've just brought out.
Let's bring out Amazon.
All right.
Amazon we just got news about Amazon, who has been trying to get into the games industry for a while. They're doing their own streaming service.
I don't know.
Soon.
I don't know.
Amazon in the last couple years with its gaming division has spent $500 million a year on its division. Dude, do you know how many fucking games cost $500 million?
No.
Fucking none. Barely any. Fuck me. I think the most expensive game was GTA.
Yeah, probably.
And it was like 380. It was like 380 grand. No, 380 mil. Sorry.
Yeah.
380 mil. Like.
I don't know, man.
$500 million a year. That's not even per game.
That's like pocket change for Bezos or whatever his name is.
Nothing for Amazon, but still, like, we're looking at a company
crazy.
That is actually willing to just throw money and just go, yeah, like, we can spend an exorbitant amount of money
to
get away with it and to learn, just to learn and figure out what's right.
Yeah, now, and Google just not.
They're spending crazy amounts of money, and to be fair, like, they have more than just, a game or two out or something. They do have, like, an engine that they use and sell, which is Lumberyard. This is Amazon. And they also have the new MMO coming out, which is New World. But, the only game that they've released so far is Crucible.
Actually.
And that game got cancelled. It came out, and, a month or two later, they shut it down because no one played it. But the new MMO, which is New World, it comes out early this year. It's meant to be first quarter.
So, also, do we still have any news or new information on that MMO that Game of Thrones man was making? No. What's his name again? What's the fat man?
George R. R. Martin.
George R. R. Martin, yeah. He was working with a game studio to make an MMO. It was actually quite well known. You'll know it. I know you will. You've just forgotten. It's a lot of hype around it. I can't remember what it was called.
I know he's working on Elden Ring, but that's not an MMO.
Is it not an MMO?
No, that's by the guys who did Dark Souls.
Okay. Well, do we have any more information on that?
No.
Fucking hell.
We also have no. We got the trailer, and that's it.
But that was ages ago.
Okay, so you were talking about that. No, I was like, I haven't heard of it.
No, it's not an MMO. You're right.
Okay, you're talking about Elden Ring. Okay.
I was talking about.
No, we don't have any information about that anymore. But anyway.
So slow. That seems to be just in limbo.
Yeah.
Which isn't good.
Well, I don't know, because I feel like FromSoft hasn't. It's only been 2 or 3 years since they announced it. It's not that big a gap compared to you look at Final Fantasy VII Remake. There was a 6-year gap between their announcement and when they released it. Look at Cyberpunk. I wouldn't really say it's been in limbo.
That's true. But I mean, Cyberpunk was in limbo for a long time.
Cyberpunk was in a way, yes. But you look at, again, Final Fantasy VII Remake. That game was phenomenal. there was a 6-year gap between its announcement, and then like there was a 5-year gap between its announcement and actual gameplay.
True.
You know.
Yeah,
So,
you're right. All right. Anyways, carry on.
I think like showing off announcing a game and whether or not and when it comes out, I don't think they're always hand in hand with being either good or bad. However, I do believe that you shouldn't announce your game until you know it's ready, or you think it's.
They just know they can ride the hype. I guess sometimes.
It's like I call it the Square Enix debacle, which is Square Enix loves to announce their games
and then never
actually
release
develop them. Like they do that so often. You know, like Final Fantasy 15 was a game that was announced years and years, like well, I think it was a decade almost.
Jeez, a decade.
Something like it was like a long fucking time, and then they finally, but it was like originally meant to be Final Fantasy like 13 or something, or some shit. It was meant to be a different game, and then it came out as 15, and everyone was like, oh, here it is.
There it is. Oh, there we go.
So like, you know, I feel like it's hard to totally judge it by when it's announced versus when it's released.
Yeah, sure.
Once it gets to like, you know, a 7-year, 8-year like Cyberpunk was, where it's like it's been where Cyberpunk got to a point where it's like, fuck is this? But like even then, it's once it gets to that like decade long, close to a decade, you go, okay, this is becoming a problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to the next part.
Yeah. What do we got?
Let's move on. Okay. I wasn't sure if I wanted to put this in here, but I feel like it needs to be said.
What is it?
There's a mod for Fallout that just came out. For Fallout New Vegas, I believe, and it's called Fallout Frontier. This mod has, when it first got announced, had some minor bits of controversy when it came out, because it had some odd situations, which I'll mention a little later in the game, and people were going, it's a bit fucking odd. But anyway, one of the artists that worked on this mod, people found his website, and there are some things that aren't okay on that website. People found
his website?
Yeah, his website where he posts his art and his video game animations, etc. Anyway, there was some animations and featuring underage children. I don't want to talk about it any further than that because it makes me sick. Yeah. Simple as that. So the mod creators took the mod down.
Yeah.
And essentially went into panic mode going, because like it's obviously it's not one person, it's like there's a group of multiple people worked on this. So they kind of took it down and they just scrubbed all his shit from it. And then now they've just recently put it back up. And I'm now of this mindset of, because obviously we talk a lot about censorship and the, like, if you don't like it, don't buy it situation. Now, I don't believe in that when it comes to this. This is because there was stuff in this mod that just isn't, it shouldn't have been there in the first place. None of these modders should be able to play the, oh, we didn't realise card, because for fuck's sakes, cunt, you can get underage girls in this game and make them your concubine. So make them your mistress.
Yeah.
You know, like, and like other weirdly fetishized content in the fucking game mod. You know, and so I really struggle with it. Now, obviously, granted, it's a mod, whatever, but I don't see how you can. I don't see how you can you can miss that. Like, I know a lot of people go, look, you might not know the person in real life, or like you might not know them to the extent that you thought you did, and they had it. But I mean, for fuck's sakes, there was underage girls in the game that you could make them your mistress. Who green flagged that and went, well, I guess this is alright.
Obviously, they didn't pay too much attention. They go, oh, I trust my developers. Yep, sure, let's chuck it in. But that's not right.
Like, that shouldn't be in a game.
No.
That just should not be in a game. You should not have that option in any fucking game. You know, and how do you miss that? It blows my mind. And like,
it's a bit frightening when there's like
don't get me
links
wrong.
to his art with that sort of stuff and in the game. So
yeah, it's like but like
there's
other cases of this. I was watching a video about this whole story and stuff, and someone brought up like other companies where this shit's happened before, like big companies, like the guys who do Magic the Gathering, right?
Sure.
They had an artist who they found out later was an actual, like, pretty much he was a Nazi.
Oh, okay.
He was very fucking racist. He was a very racist man. And one of the cards he made is straight up, it's pretty much Ku Klux Klan. I'm going to fucking read out to you what it says. It's called Invoked Prejudice.
That doesn't sound good. That immediately doesn't sound good.
Now, the actual art style is literally people in, like, it's these shadows in cloaks with pointy fucking hats holding a double-sided axe. And here's what the enchantment was. If opponent casts a summon spell that does not match the color of one of the creatures under your control, that spell is countered. Essentially, like it's just, now obviously you look into it a little bit with that part, but like,
I mean, it links up.
You know, like, the artist who did this card, the person who made this card, was a Nazi.
Yeah.
You know,
oh man, I hate this. I hate this episode.
I don't.
So gross.
Because we do talk a lot about, you and I very often talk about where censorship should stop and start, because we believe in the freedom of speech. We believe that people should be able to create art forms in however they.
Yeah, but it's this is criminal.
Like, this is a different, like,
this
obviously,
is
like
hate speech.
There's a difference. Like, we don't stand for, and we don't agree with censorship when it comes to that girl had some cleavage, cancel it, death threats, censor it. That we don't agree. That's not whatever. Good. Who gives a fuck? There's some boob.
But this is
like
child
underage fucking porn.
Yeah.
And or for Magic the Gathering, racism, pure racism.
And it has no space in games or media in this day and age.
I know, it's just it
needs to be extinguished.
I didn't want to talk about this to begin with because I was like, it's just such a
downer, isn't it?
Topic
really drains you.
But like, it needs to be spoken about because I didn't see many people speak about it. The way I found out about this fucking thing was through a tweet.
A tweet.
No one.
Nothing misses out on Twitter. I hadn't
seen anyone fucking mention anything, and then someone just said, man, Frontier is a hot pile of garbage. And I was like, what's Frontier? And I just Googled and Fallout Frontier and all the fucking shit just appeared in front of me. And I went, holy fucking night. And like, obviously now people are starting to talk about it now, but like, it's just, it blows me away.
Wow.
Riot Games is in the news. Riot Games, a shit studio. Before we started the podcast, Mitch, Riot Games was under some hot water for being a shit company, kind of similar to the Ubisoft situation.
What company isn't?
Not to the extent of pure like sexual assault like Ubisoft.
Sure.
But they had a lot of they had this weird cringe bro dude office environment of like one of the COOs would walk around, who still works there and is still the COO, by the way. And he'd walk around and fart in people's faces, workers' faces and shit like that, or just stupid shit. It's just.
It's like they're part of a.
It's like if Stifler was your boss.
Yeah.
It's literally if Stifler was your boss. And it's just
What do they call it in the US? Like a fraternity?
Yeah, it's a frat club. That's what I'm saying. Like it's literally those dude bros, and it was really like misogynistic and like really belittling to women, very creepy, sleazy, just all that shit, you know. Right. And they were getting sued due to this, and so right now they've just been put into arbitration. Which, I hope you guys get the shit sued out of you. You're a gross company, and the fact that you let your boss go around, like one of the bosses, like go around fighting like staff members' faces, like you know, I'd happily fart in your face, Mitchell. But that's because one, I know,
and just like anyone else, I would not enjoy it.
No, but like the thing is, there's a difference though, because you'd turn around and fucking punch me, and I'd deservedly cop it, you know. Whereas if my boss came up to me and farted in my face, I can't do anything about that.
No, you could.
I'd lose my job.
Just gotta reap the consequences.
That's the problem. You know, like, it's not like, oh, you're hanging out with your mates and you do something gross and it's a giggle, whatever.
Hee ha ha ha.
You know, there's a clear power balance shit, and it's just stupid. I think it's just dumb, and it's just really immature, and just how do you let that happen in your company?
Yep.
Now, this is the last bit of news, and...
Thank God.
What's the time check, actually?
Yeah, you're doing fine, mate.
What are we on?
52.
Okay, yeah, we'll finish up soon. So, Warner Bros. We love Warner Bros.
Oh, no.
Right.
I hadn't thought about them in a while.
So,
go on.
We love something about them, and that is the Nemesis system.
Yes.
We love the Nemesis system, and we love the idea of other companies being able to utilize that and be able to make more games with
what
the
are
Nemesis
you
system.
getting into?
Well, Warner Bros. Are being greedy little fucks and trying to patent the Nemesis system.
Yeah, I thought
so that way no one can use the Nemesis system except for Warner Bros.
Well, how about they bring out more games with the bloody Nemesis system?
No. Now, listen here. The patent was originally filed in 2016, right? And they weren't getting anywhere with it, essentially meaning their legal team sucked. So they got a new legal team recently, and now it's looking more and more like they're going to get the patent.
That sucks.
Meaning no other company that isn't owned by Warner Bros. Can use the Nemesis system. And
shit.
I think that's a real shame, because...
That's a massive shame.
The Nemesis system is such a promising thing, and I don't want the idea of companies being able to steal concepts, essentially.
Yeah.
It is a concept, or... because imagine if back in the day, like, IO Interactive, when they made Wolfenstein, one of the first ever first-person shooters, and then when,
no one can do it.
First-person shooters.
No one else can make first-person shooters.
No one can make FPSs anymore. Like, imagine that, or imagine Mario Party patents,
or Battle Royales, you know?
Yeah, if PlayerUnknown patented the BR mode.
No, not even Fortnite.
Fortnite
was before, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. PUBG was first. PUBG was first, yeah. And
You're right, it was
wasn't
PUBG.
Even the first one, though. It wasn't even the first one.
No, it wasn't, but that's the thing, like, people...
imagine if the first ever Battle Royale came out...
And they patented it.
You can't make another one.
No,
we would have never gotten PUBG, we would have never gotten Fortnite, we would have never gotten Warzone, like, we would have never gotten a lot of very good games. Or, it's obviously granted, the Nemesis system is just a concept compared to an actual play style, a game style.
It is a little different, but still, it is a big part of a game.
Do you know what? The best way then would be, imagine if health regeneration was patented by the first company that utilized health regeneration in a game. Every other game, you could not regen health naturally. You had to go and heal yourself. You know? Like, that. It's something like that. It's a concept like that. And that's bloody stupid. Like, sliding in a game is only usable in this one game. Yeah. You know, that's stupid.
Or if it was like Telltale Games, they wouldn't have patented it, but like their style of game where it's like the butterfly effect.
Well, I mean, that the Telltale Games, that the butterfly effect type thing, that with Telltale
they didn't
Games,
patent it though.
the choice, the choices didn't really matter.
No, but you know that style of thing.
Like,
if they did that, we wouldn't have gotten things like Until Dawn, those ones, that whole series.
But like, you know? Even then, it's just, you know, this isn't obviously the first company that's done it. You know, Sega back in the day with Crazy Taxi.
What was the YouTubers that tried to patent Let's Play? Yeah, and
it wasn't Let's Play. It was Reactions.
I thought it was Let's Play.
No, it's like, you know, the teenagers react.
Yeah.
Old people react. Those guys, they tried to copyright.
And they got deleted.
They didn't get deleted. They just got shat on. They're still around, dude. They still make a shit ton of money.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Well.
But like they got shat on hard.
But they got a hard hit from that.
Yeah.
And that's what should happen with this.
I know, it's a shame because it's like this
massive shame.
And like. But like I said, this isn't the only other company that's patented a system or something. Like I said, they tried to do it when they did Crazy Taxi, the compass that was on top of the car in Crazy Taxi. They patented that specific compass. BioWare patented their dialogue wheel, the specific dialogue wheel for Mass Effect and that. You can't utilize that.
That's small stuff, though, at least, you know.
But like that's still, you know, like that's.
It won't change a game.
To an entire system, it's different, yes.
Yeah.
But you know, like it's still big enough.
But I think it's fine if like a specific art style of like the way you've designed a game, like a dialogue wheel or whatever, can be patented. That's fine. But the Nemesis system,
all that shit should be easily patented.
But the Nemesis system is so much bigger than that. So much
exactly.
bigger.
And like, you know, it's like it's just stupid. It's just
so
really
stupid.
Dumb.
Anyway, that's
the end of the news. Let's get on to. I made some like quick little games. This will be fun.
Right.
So we've got 2 different games. There's only 2 questions in each, or like two in each of these. One's a would you rather. So you have to choose which one you'd rather. Now, would you rather every game is monetized like an EA Sports game, or B, every game is as buggy and broken as Cyberpunk?
A. I'd rather A.
Really? You'd rather be overly monetized?
I don't like to play buggy games.
But they could eventually get fixed.
I don't know. I think there's still ways to enjoy a game without buying into the whole
Ultimate Team's pay to win.
Yeah, pay to win stuff. Whereas I think bugs can get people off games like that and not want to play it, regardless of how long it takes them to fix them.
For me, if a game's pay to win, I immediately stop playing it.
Yeah, I don't want either of them.
Yeah.
Let that be known.
It was meant to be a shit sandwich. That was a shit sandwich.
But I'd rather A.
Here's the next one. Would you rather have One Piece never finish and just stop production now, or B,
What?
have every other anime only use the CGI from Berserk 2016?
Man, you know, that's actually hard because it's such a selfish decision for me.
This was going to be a different question originally, but when Tolga said he wasn't coming, I was like, I'm going to make one specifically.
Yeah, that's unfair. That's just not nice. Because obviously,
none of these are a good answer. Neither of these are.
I mean, I watched One Piece as a kid and then stopped because I don't know. I just grew up and then started watching it again in year 12 and binged it all. And like, what am I? 970 episodes in. Like, if they stopped now and I never got to experience the finish, what was all that for? What were all those hours? It takes a year to get through a bloody arc.
Question then, Mitchell.
It takes over a year. It's ridiculous.
Mitchell,
yeah. What?
So what you're saying is you'd like One Piece to finish.
Yes.
But that means every other anime is going to look as bad.
You can't be disappointed in the art style of the anime if every anime has the same art style.
But no, so this is from now on.
Yeah.
So like, we've had good anime since.
Hey, there can still be great storytelling and great character development. We're just gonna have to tolerate it.
Not if the animation. Oh, dude, I wouldn't be able to. I couldn't get.
Well, so that's your problem.
I'd choose One Piece never finishing.
Well, that's because you don't watch One Piece.
Yeah.
So I pick One
That was
Piece.
an easy answer for me.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is a true or false.
False.
So, essentially, it's not true or false. It's just guess the truth. Essentially, guess the truth out of
Alright.
4
Yeah.
3 lies, 1 truth.
Oh, fuck.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is about Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, my favorite game.
So, A. When developing the second game for Crash Bandicoot, they considered making it open world. B. Crash Bandicoot's name came from the lead developer Jason Rubin's dog's name, who was also called Crash. C. When the first Crash Bandicoot game was being developed, it was called Sonic's Butt. D. Crash Bandicoot was almost going to be a tiger.
Crash Bandicoot was going to be a tiger. Is that what you said?
Originally, yes.
So it would have been called Crash Tiger. I think B is the truth. I don't think it's going to be an open world, mainly because they wouldn't have had really the technology for that at that point, I don't think.
Like, I guess look at Spyro, though. It was pretty open-ended.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call that really an open world, would you?
It was the beginning of it. It was
Yeah,
the beginning.
yeah, but not really.
But no.
B, I can't remember what it was, but I remember thinking
B
that
was
was the truth.
Crash Bandicoot's name came from the lead developer, Jason.
Yeah, the dog.
Dog's name. You think that's true? You are wrong.
Well,
So,
not the first time.
The answer was C. When the first Crash Bandicoot game was being developed, it was originally named Sonic's Butt. Because
Sonic's
you were
butt.
looking at it from the back of the animal,
Oh.
instead of it following sideways. And fun fact, Crash Bandicoot was named after the fact that he crashes into boxes.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
It's got nothing to do with Jason Rubin's dog.
Well, that's a little disappointing, but it makes sense.
But yeah,
Next one.
also I made up all those false ones. So
I'm sure you did, you very
proud of
creative
myself.
little shit.
Okay, so this one's about Spyro the Dragon.
Ah, yes. Played the original.
A. Spyro was originally going to be an on-rails style shooter, with a dragon just flying and
Yep.
shooting fire.
Yep.
B. Spyro was originally going to be green. C. Spyro's voice actor used to hang out with teenagers to get the sass he needed for the first game. Or D. Insomniac stopped making Spyro games because they thought that dragons were too edgy.
Too edgy?
Yeah, they thought they were just catering towards the wrong demographic that they wanted to.
I can actually see that. What was the first one again?
Spyro was originally going to be like an on-rails shooter.
No, I don't believe that. And then the other one's green. The other one I don't believe. So I'm going to lock in
But
D.
you don't believe the voice actor?
I mean, I could believe the voice actor, but I believe D more.
You're wrong. Spyro was originally going to be green.
Oh.
He was originally going to be green, but you couldn't see him in the grass, so they made him purple.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, just make him a different fucking shade of green. Anyways, we'll make the green. I don't know.
No, because they had different colours of grass as well.
Yeah. All right.
So
well,
it's
there
just
you
easier to
go.
just
I'm
differentiate it
wrong. I'm bad at games.
I do
Whatever.
like the Spyro's voice actor used to hang out with teens to get the sass he needed for the first game.
Mate, if I become an actor, I'm gonna do that. That's why it's gonna happen.
But no,
Anyway.
that's it. That's all we have for today.
Love it.
So yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
Cheers.
Seriously, leave a comment, hit that like button. But no, let's just jump right into the ending.
Well,
You've been
yeah.
Nerdspice.
Nerd spiced. I was the echo.